I love Supernatural. Watching Sam and Dean take on various monsters satisfies my need of awesome. I have watched every single episode and all 7 seasons of it. The show, like any other, has its ups and downs, but all of the upswings make the dips easily forgotten. The show is, by and large, the best show on television, in my opinion, of course. I thought it was odd when I went to the CW site to watch the preview of the upcoming episode. My monitor began flashing repeatedly and going on and off. I was beginning to freak out before I figured that it must be something making the wire loose. By the time I realized this had long since stopped, when I looked at the screen, my internet browser was in full screen mode and the window was completely a blinding hue of white. I nearly could not look at it. It was beginning to hurt my eyes. I tried to turn off full screen mode, only to be met with failure. My eyes began to look at the burning white screen, and as I got used to the light, I could see something inside the screen. It was a link to something, not even a full one. This was some kind of promotion, right? The CW might have something special coming up for the show. Now this began to make sense. My tension began to ease a little. I moved my mouse onto the link and clicked it, not knowing what to expect at all after this point. The loading process was pretty quick, nothing unusual about it at all. Soon, everything was as it should be, but it felt weird. Off almost. The episode was called You're Next. I didn't understand this, but Supernatural was known for naming episodes after classic rock music or just making no sense, being totally obvious. Bugs. I'm looking at you. As I watched this begin to play, the first thing that struck me was something was wrong with the camera. It was a handheld view like that old Blair Witch movie. At once I went to the old Ghostfacers episodes. They seem to drop that in this season. Maybe a comeback. These episodes seem to be my favorite breather episodes. Funny yet still scary at the same time. I was curious to see what was coming next. In true Supernatural tradition, the preview began to show things of before. But wait, this was a preview, right? Why would they be showing this stuff? A wasted download? Some kind of joke? Oh no, there it went. New stuff. Oddly violent stuff. Now don't get me wrong, Supernatural is a violent, bloody, dark show, but these images were something else entirely. Visions of hell with Sam and Dean both there. One a relentless torture of souls, the other being torn to pieces over and over again. These were my favorite characters, and yes, this is part of a series canon, but that didn't mean I really wanted to see it this bad. Was this stuff even allowed to be on TV? I was beginning to feel sick. Children dead in the streets, rotting, flashes of other dead things that I thought were animals, but it was too fast to tell what it was besides the obvious image of decay. I didn't understand this, and I reached for the power button. The closer my hand got, the more the screen began to fade in noiseless static, with a hum in the background I only seemed to hear, but just barely. What the heck? The static lasts for what seems like forever. This is a waste of my time, it seems. I was just about to stop the video, and I look up on the internet to see if anyone else has made sense of this, but it knew. Of course it knew. The static switched off at once to the scene of the show. I admit it. I jumped a mile, not expecting this at all. Dean and Bobby, who happens to be my second favorite character in the show, are talking about something. There is no sound, just that god-awful humming that keeps increasing in sound now. What is this supposed to be? But something seems to be wrong. The two of them are reacting to the noise coming from my speakers. Looking around to try to find the source, there is none. For a moment, both of them stop looking and stare at me. They do this for a full minute, and their gaze was a knowing one. They were talking, saying something, but all I heard was that blasted hum. I wish I could read lips better, but it looked like they were trying to tell me to turn it down. Their mouths were moving far too fast, though. It had to be more. The message is never obtained, though, because the hum dies out at once. But at the same time, a loud noise replaces it. The sound of a door being kicked in. Sam walks in, and I see it, and I know all too fast this episode is going to be the best episode in some time. Sam's eyes are wide, impossibly so, however, and this seems to get to me. The eyes in this show always did bug me when they did their effects, but this was far worse than the first shot of the Crossroad Blues episode's face freakout shot. The two characters turn to face Monster Sam, and are just as shocked as I am at the sight. They both back off as the thing pulls out of guns and fires. The gunshot that came from my speakers was not Hollywood weapon noise. This was real, loud, as if it was in the same room with me, and I jumped again. I didn't understand the concept of this. I watched the two characters fall to their knees as the blood poured from their chest and onto the floor. This was thick, black, and real. I've seen blood. We all have, and when we see the real thing, it is very different. I was now at once realized that I had just witnessed murder, but it was real. I was losing my mind, trying to decide what was real or fake anymore. This thought alone was terrifying enough to make me want to bolt from my room in a screaming panic. I needed a breather, needed that deadpan Dean humor, but there he was, dead on the floor with his eyes in my direction. Bobby as well. The dead, and they were looking at me. Why were dead people on my computer? What was this? The sick joke could end any time. It doesn't end, though. Sam had shot Bobby in the head. Why didn't the strong character react? Why did he just take it? This made no sense. Made no sense at all. My hand was over my mouth. I don't remember putting it there, though. I'd never seen anyone die like this before. I couldn't take it anymore and went for the power button. This was all wrong. This was not real. This was a mistake. Broken footage. Test shots done by a film crew with too much time on their hands. I was frantically trying to justify in my head what I just saw. It wasn't easy, but I almost managed to do it when I noticed that the Deadeye Sam thing was looking right at me. I barely had time to notice that the progress bar had already reached its end. My heart freezes in my chest. The skin turns to ice when a voice comes out of the speakers. "Hey, Cameron, how's it going?" A twisted electronic voice says to me. I say nothing. I can't say anything because my body refuses to even work. I feel the tears running down my face in the horror I am faced with. Sam casually walks closer to the screen. "You understand, no witnesses. You're next," Sam says to me, something that barely sounds like the same one as I know. The gun is pointed at me, slowly. Then, with a dark smile showing hints of razor-sharp teeth, the gun goes off, and all I know is the pain, and it feels like getting hit with a massive hammer in the chest. The last thing I hear is laughing before it all goes black. Hospital. I wake up in one. Something terrible happened to me, and I'm not quite sure where I am at first, or what time it is. I still hurt, but it means I'm alive. I made it. Maybe I was seeing things. Someone was in the room with me. A nurse. No, a doctor of some kind. "Well, you're next on my list." The words shoot through me like the virtual bullet that burned a hole through me. But I get a hold of myself and close my eyes and try not to panic. I open my eyes, but to my horror, it is not a doctor. It is Sam. His eyes stare upon me. I can't do anything as the blade jams itself into heart. At this, I wake up as once in my padded cell. Safe. Home. I put my notebook down. I'll need a new one soon. Maybe if I get another notebook, my memories will change. God, I hope so. Help me. Someone.